talk about the storm. Let's go into what happened that facilitated, what I might call, what Du Bois calls the dark night of the soul.
Well, it started young. I grew up in East Baltimore. My father was in prison for half of my life, over 20 years. And I had my mother, and we were trying to get into the music business. It was our way out. I grew up in a family in a neighborhood that was crime and drugs and violence and different things going on in East Baltimore. And no one in my family ever had like big success. So when we finally did get the record deal, it was just like, life, like, wow, somebody actually made it. Maybe we don't have.
And you're talking about the group Prophet Jones, right?
Yes. Yep. Prophet Jones.
Yeah. I want everybody to know who we're talking about.
Yes. So it was the first time. It's like, okay, all the stress is gone. Somebody made it. Somebody's going to become famous. Somebody going to make it big. No more bills, no more struggling. So, I get out there, we doing everything, we traveling, doing movie soundtracks with Jamie Foxx and all these crazy things. And then eventually everything comes to an end.
Why?
Well, we lost our deal after 9/11. Everything got weird, and just everything got weird. Our album came out in 2001, September 16th. So everything started getting weird, and then we started having problems in the group. And Motown didn't want to renew the contract, so we actually were dropped from Motown.
So let me ask you this: so the music industry sort of changed after 9/11. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. It's
in what ways did it change? Because this is all new information to me. I don't know anything about this.
Well, at that same time, I don't know if you remember, in the 90s, we weren't in the technology age. When 2000 came, we started going digital.
Yeah.
And in 2001, everything froze after 9/11. The world was in a shock. So our album had came out a week after the towers were hit. So everything just froze. And then on top of that, the hip hop scene was starting to come up from the South. New York City at that time, I don't know if you remember, but New York had a hip hop drought, and all of the music was coming out of the South. So
yeah.
Technology digital was coming in. You had 9/11, and you had Southern hip hop music that was wiping out R&B. The R&B had slowed down, and you had Master P, Cash Money, and Lil Wayne, and all those guys. They were coming up. And then the South just started creeping in, and then the guy group started disappearing. So
what did that do to the internal dynamics of your group?
So it broke us. We weren't prepared. We weren't prepared. Whenever you have big hopes and big dreams, especially, I actually think every artist that signs a deal should get a psychologist the first day they sign their contract. Especially if you're not used to having money, if you're not used to having that kind of lifestyle. To go from 0 to 100,000, like not 0 to 10, but 0 to 100,000, and then you lose that, and you come falling down. And then on top of that, when you fall, you didn't save any money. You spent all of your advances. You spent all of your show money. Everything just stopped. So here you go. You're coming back home to reality. You got a video on television. Your music is playing. So you had all of these things happening, and you just kind of lost. And so what ended up happening was, when I came back, maybe a few years later, I started suffering from extreme anxiety. I didn't even know that I was having those issues because I never heard of anxiety. But come to find out, my group wasn't the start of anxiety. I had it in me from when I was young, and everything that with my father going to prison, it just took one moment to bring those to bring everything back out of me. So what happened was, when that moment happened, everything from my childhood, from my life up to that point started affecting me, and it all just started hitting me to the point where my confidence was gone. I started to, I didn't have any interest in anything. I felt worthless. I felt like I let my family down. I felt like it was the end of the world for me, and I just felt like I let everybody down. And I started to go through so many things internally. I started to have heart palpitations. I'm in and out of the emergency room. I didn't have finances. I owed the IRS money. It was pure hell, man. And I tried to, a lot of people didn't understand me because they didn't know how bad I was hurting because I was covering it up. I wasn't being honest with myself.
Yeah.
And I was lying.
And
I was lying to myself.
And that's what people do. We dissimulate. We present to the world what we think the world needs from us and needs us to be. And I think what's powerful about what you're saying. I think what's powerful about what you're saying is that, as long as the music's going on, you can avoid and run from your issue. But when the music,
the only sound you hear is your mind.
Oh, that's good.
That's the only sound you hear, and that's the only voice you hear is your mind when the music stops. And
Clarence, stop for a second. How many people you think are afraid of that moment of encounter?
Most people. I would think 80% of America. I would think 80% of, let's speak about America right now. I think 80% of America is afraid of that. Actually, I say 90%. Most people.
I agree.
Most people, most of the time when they come face to face with tragedy, usually is through death. And that's what losing something that you put your entire heart into feels like. Feels like you experience death. And in the process of that, not only are you feeling hurt people hurt other people. And you start to drag people into your hurt. And it's a vicious cycle.
How did you do that?
I did that by searching for relief in people. I started trying to find love and find love through people. And I ended up, getting in relationships where I wasn't ready. It didn't take time to work on myself. I was jumping right into things, and I didn't work on myself. And I tell people, even in my book, Give It One More Try, I talk about taking a moment to work on yourself. Sometimes in life you need to just be still. You need to stop. You need to slow down. You don't fall into, hey, I need to hurry up and get in a relationship. I need to hurry up and meet somebody, because what's going to happen is you're going to go into that relationship with all of those unfinished, unresolved issues that you have, and you're going to be a burden to someone else.